Hi there. This will be a quick demo video showing my dissertation project, which is called Juice, what it's capable of and when you might use it and things like that. So the first thing to say is Juice allows you to change object variables on the fly. So for example, if you've got a player and it's got a speed variable, you could change that speed while you're playing the game instead of having to stop, find the object, change it, recompile, play again. It just lets you do it straight away, so you can see the effect and decide if that's what you want for the game. It's super simple to set up. That's it. One line. Obviously, you include a reference for the DLL as you would, and then you call the update and provide it the game time. That is a generic object, so it doesn't have to be game time. It just is in this case because I'm using XNA and for this project, so that's what it is. It could be a float, it could be some other obscure game time representation. Doesn't matter. So once that's done, we're good to go. And this is how you register a class. Now, when you register it, you're telling Juice that you want to track it. So in this one, I'm tracking a player. So to register it, you provide the object, you track him. And as you'll see there, there's a second parameter, but that isn't necessary, it's an optional parameter. In this case, it is used, but you don't have to. It's just used for some of the more advanced features, like telling the future, which I'll come into later. This here, this list, is objects that you don't want to be trackable. So you don't want to see these in the UI because for whatever reason they could be game critical and you don't want people messing around with them. But yeah, it gives you that option, and you can send it either through as an object or a string, your choice. So in a minute I'll boot it up and show you what we've got. Hey, so we're back, and as you can see I've just booted it up, and this is what you might call a game. However, I'll just call it a guy running around. And I'm just going to show you some of the the simple features of Juice and what it can do, and then you can draw your own conclusions from how to use it, but this will give you a rough idea. Okay, so I've got this player running around, and behind him, as you can see, we have this list. This list is all of the objects in the game that are being tracked at the moment. So each item represents an object. So for example, if I click on the player, this represents everything that's in the player that you want to be seen. So as you can see, there's a speed in here, there's a direction, and if I don't know if you'll be able to see that actually. Maybe, no, go away. Yeah, so that obviously changes, and yeah. So what I'm going to do just quickly to give you a demo is I'm going to massively increase the speed. Whoa, there we go. And as you can see, it's changed it straight away. However, that is too high and I don't like it, so I'm just going to change it back. And there we go, back to a nice reasonable pace. So as you can see straight away, there's two possible changes. What would have had to happen then in the previous development cycle is I would have had to close the game, change the value, open the game again. I've decided I didn't like it, close the game, change the value, and that is not productive for design. You need to be able to see exactly what's going to happen straight away. So the whole idea behind this is to make designers' life easier. So now I'm going to give you another example. I want to jump across here to this bit here. So I'm going to jump, and I didn't make it. Damn. Okay, so now because I don't have any code set up for sorting out position or anything like that, I'm just going to do this. Let's put the player right back at the beginning. How useful is that? So I know now that I can't get across this, and there's a couple of ways to solve it. I could increase the jump strength, or you could do what I'm going to do now, which is to reposition the block of terrain. So there you go, as you can see, we're now there. Whee! But I still can't get up there. So I'm actually going to have to increase the strength anyway. So we'll have to put it to 2. Which is really high. It's too high really. So I'm going to change that back down to 1.2. Hey, back to a normal jump strength. Yeah, so there's a very quick application. There's my enemy running around. Not really a lot to show with him. But he just chases the player, and like obviously within the enemy there are things for like how fast he's chasing, so I could just bump that up, and well, if he ever leaves, he gets a lot quicker. Or I could increase the range in which he does chase, so he's pretty much chasing me all the time by the looks of it. Yeah. Okay, so there's just like some very quick ideas of what you can do. And in the next bit, I'm going to show you one of the cooler features called Seeing the Future. Okay, so I'm going to show you Seeing the Future, which is one of my favourite features. So the idea behind this is that sometimes the designer doesn't want to straight away apply the changes to the world. So, like, the speed might be too fast, and he's not going to know how that's going to affect things. So this will give him the chance to see those changes first and decide whilst he's playing. It's probably easier if I just show you. Actually, it's a bit difficult to explain. So I'm going to click this button here, and this button is only created when you provide the callback, as I was going on about earlier. So this callback, and all that callback is just it's called by Juice, and it gives you a future object. It's a fun name, isn't it? It gives you a future object which you can then render and update as you normally would an object. Okay, so I'm going to click this now. Dun dun dun, and it's dropped another person into the world. Now this person is an exact copy of me. Well, an exact copy of me at the time it was created. So if I, change the jump strength or anything like that, it's replicated with me. And then I can, what happened then? Okay, so I'm going to change this to 2. And as you can see, the one that I've just changed it to is far higher. Now I decide I don't want that speed, that's too high, so I'll cancel it, and it just lowers it back down, no problem. However, I'm going to set it to 1.5, I'm going to accept that, and now we're at 1.5. So basically the idea behind it is that instead of just having to change variables and see what happens, this will actually give you an informed decision on how it will affect the world. So like there, with the original example, I could have seen straight away that jump was too high, or that the terrain was too low, too high in the first place, because I would have had a replicated object that showed me. It's just one extra step that the designer doesn't have to do because it's done for him. Okay, so yeah, there we go, and we'll just get rid of him. And he's back. Look at that. Wow, cool. Yep. So that is just a very short demo of what Juice can do, showing you how easy it is to set up, and how little it requires for the user to be able to use it very quickly. So thanks a lot for listening. Just as I forgot, obviously the changes you make within the game are not immediately reflected back into the code, although ideally eventually there will be. In this case they're not. So to handle this, what I've actually got is where are you? You're here. This is the change log. So anything that's been changed while we were playing, it just prints out here. So this can be quickly sent to programmers, or a designer can do it themselves of just quickly changing the variables. So as you can see here, this was when we changed the jump strength from 1.2 to 1.5, and from 2 to 1.2. So you can see those changes reflected in what you're doing, and just quickly change it later date. Okay, I think that actually is it. So thanks for listening, and goodbye.